Gamestop is doing a promo where you're able to trade in games and get 50% additional credit. I figured this is too good of an opportunity not to kind of make it a focus of a video. So I'm already out. I went to Walmart this morning, and of course, nothing new, nothing good in terms of pickups. I guess I tapped out all my luck last week. Of course, I was mostly looking for another one of those $5 Skyrims, but no, not happening. So I was on my way out, and I found an email from GameStop that said this week is trade week. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. What does that mean? When I took a look, I saw that apparently all trade-ins for games, you get 50% extra credit on top of its existing value, which I already have a couple games that I was planning on trading in anyway. So I figured, well, instead of just trading those in, why don't we do a little game hunting, and I'll see if I can find games that I can get on the cheap that are worth a lot more in trade-in and see what I can get for them. So I'm waiting for the bus. I'm gonna probably stop at a few pawn shops just to see what I can find, and then I'll go home and add whatever I find to my collection that I already have of stuff I was planning on trading in, and see what we can do. So let's go out on an adventure to find some games that we can flip for cheap to GameStop. So I was on my way home, and I figured, you know what? I got some decent deals here last time. So let's go check out Simple Pawn and Jewelry and see if I can find some games that I can flip to GameStop. Let's go. Okay, so I went in there and they had a pretty good deal, flat pricing, $3 for Xbox 360 gen games, $5 for PS4, Xbox One. Unfortunately, there was just nothing that I particularly wanted. Even the last gen games, like, it was mostly just old sports games and stuff that has no value whatsoever. So it doesn't help us in our quest, doesn't help me in building my collection. The other two things that I saw which were interesting, and one I sadly couldn't get footage of just because there were always people behind the counter and I didn't want to awkwardly film them. One was a Wii. Apparently they originally had a Wii with a bunch of stuff with it. They sold it already. So they had just a regular Wii without any parts to it. It's just the Wii itself. Asking $25, that's not terrible. If I had a little more money, I probably would have pulled the trigger on it, because I'm sure I could find like Wiimotes and stuff, but just wasn't feeling it right now. The other thing was a PS5. They had a PS5 in there. Apparently it's not able to go on sale until May 5th, so I doubt I'll be able to get it, but I'm gonna write that down just in case for some reason I can get in there and ask about it before anybody else does. So we'll see. They open at 10:30 in the morning, so honestly what I might do is on May 5th, like, show up before they open and be like, hey, I want to ask about the PS5. Because if I can get a PS5, especially if it's brand new, working condition, and I can maybe put it on layaway, I'm gonna do it. So we'll see. But nothing for our adventure today yet. I'm probably gonna go check out my other pawn shop stops later on today just to see if I can find anything I can flip. So I'm gonna head home, recoup for a bit, and then go on to my next part of the adventure. So, as I mentioned earlier, GameStop is doing a promo where you're able to trade in games and get 50% additional credit. So I figured this is too good of an opportunity not to kind of make it a focus of a video. So I'm gonna start by taking a number of games that I already have that I know are worth a decent amount of money and trading them in. So this is kind of the starter pack that I'm going to use. On top of that, I'm gonna be checking out some more pawn shops to see if I can find more games that I can trade in. So it's kind of a multi-part process, but I think if it goes well, I could be looking at some pretty serious extra funds and potentially some great new games. So here are the games that I've acquired recently that I think I'm gonna trade in, because if you include the amount they're currently worth plus the 50% extra credit, they're worth a pretty good amount of money. So the first one I'm going to be trading in is Call of Duty Black Ops 3 on the PS4. I acquired this for $10 from a pawn shop. The main reason why I'm trading this in is because I just got the Xbox One version for 3 cents from Walmart. So I don't need the PS4 and the Xbox One version. It's currently worth $11 in trade-in, plus the 50%, that will make it $16.50. That's really good, and I only pay $10 for this. So I'll get $6.50 extra credit for trading this in, and I don't need it anymore, so it works out. Next, we're gonna go with Ace Combat 7. I picked this up from a pawn shop very recently. Currently, it's worth about $7 trade-in. So if you add the 50%, it's worth about 10, give or take. I paid 5 for it, so I can get basically double in trade-in for this. Again, solid return on investment. The Sims 4 bundle that I just picked up at Walmart for $10. Trade-in, again, like Call of Duty, it's worth $11, so I can get $16.50 for it. Solid. I could have tried to sell it for 20 bucks on eBay, and maybe would have made 16 out of it. I'd rather trade it into GameStop and get a good profit. So I'm going to trade this in. As you can see now, it is opened because I'm going to trade it in. And then this last one is kind of a gamble because I didn't see a specific listing for this particular version of the game. I did see one for this game, but it was the Switch version, which Switch versions typically are a little inflated. That is American Ninja Warrior Challenge on the PS4. I didn't see a listing for the PS4 version, so I don't know if they'll actually take it. I'll find out. If they don't take it, I might just keep it on eBay or keep it in general. But the Switch version goes for about $8 trade-in, so 50%, that'd make it about $12. Again, I paid $5 for this, so we'll see if they even take it. I would hope they would, but you never know. So those are the 4 games that I'm gonna start with. That's basically 50 bucks if I get full values for all of them. That's a great start, and I only have 30 bucks into those games. So already a net gain of 20 bucks just in trading credit. So next what I'm gonna do is head over to the other side of the street, a little bit farther down the street. I'm gonna check Cash America, Value Pawn, and La Familia to see if I can find games that I can flip to GameStop for a good profit. That's the main priority I have right now. Now, obviously, if I run into some games that I just want to add to the collection, I'll do that. But the main focus is going to be finding games that I can trade in and get extra credit for. So let's go ahead and take a look, see what we can find. So Cash America, once again, did me well. I'm beginning to build kind of a rapport with the guy who's in there because I see him every time I go in. He knows I'm buying games. So I got a bulk deal. I picked up 5 games for 20 bucks, and I'm pretty happy with these because 3 of them I'm going to flip to GameStop. 2 of them I'm going to keep, kind of. 1 I got mostly to flip on eBay, and then 1 I got to actually add to my collection. So I definitely think I did pretty well on this stack. So first off, we have Final Fantasy X and X-2 Remaster on the PS4. I don't have exact prices for each of these just because he did a bulk deal, so I paid about 20 total for them all. But this one trades in for like $7 at GameStop, so I definitely paid less than that for this one. So definitely a solid pickup. So again, that's going to be about 10 because of the promo that they're running. Next up, we have The Last of Us Remastered. I already have this game, of course. If you own a PS4, you should own this game. Again, it has some decent trading credit. I think it's worth like 6 or 7, something like that. So again, should be worth 9 to 10 in trade-in. Definitely paid less than that for that game. Next, we have America's Game Shows, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy on the PS4. I have Wheel of Fortune on the Switch. I don't have Jeopardy, so I could technically keep this, but it has a decent trade-in as well, so I'm going to trade that into GameStop. Again, make a nice profit. And then here are the 2 games. I just dropped that one. That's fine. That I picked up, 1 for flipping and 1 for keeping. This one's 1 for keeping. Battlefield 4. I did have this game at one point. I don't anymore. So I figured, you know what? It was in there. I wanted to try to make a nice bundle. So I picked it up, added to the collection. I have Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, but not Battlefield 4. So I'm like, well, might as well get it. And then the last one. And again, you all probably know this just because it's kind of a big thing that wrestling games, especially older ones, are selling for a decent amount. We have WWE 2K16 on the Xbox One. It's worth about 10 bucks, so not a huge value, but I can probably flip it quickly on eBay. So I'm going to try to flip that. So yeah, 5 games, 20 bucks total. I think I did very well. 3 games to add to the trade-in pile. So let's head across the street to Value Pond and see what I can do there. Last episode, we did really well at their sister location. So let's see how we can do in this Value Pond this week. Let's go. Alright, so as you saw, not nearly as successful. However, I did find one game, and originally they asked for 10 for it, because they do, this location at least tends to look up prices, but it was very easy to negotiate, because apparently on eBay it was going for 20. They originally asked for 10 or 8, and I got them down to 5 without doing much, so that was nice. But I picked up Monopoly Family Fun Pack on PS4. I already have this on Xbox One. I mostly picked it up because it's worth $7.70 in trade-in. If you add that up plus the bonus trade-in, it's worth over 10. So again, I did well. So I've paid $25 so far, and I've gotten 4 games that I could easily trade in for well more than that. So I got one more pawn shop I'm going to hit up, and then after that, we're going to head to Gamestop and see what we can get with all of our trading credit. So let's go. It has been a little while since I've been here, but typically I do pretty well. So let's head to our last pawn shop, La Familia. See if I can find some quick games to flip a Gamestop. Let's go. So interestingly enough, that was actually the worst stop. Their case had a bunch of repeat games, and it's all stuff that's worth very little. I did find 2 things, and oddly enough, it seems like La Familia is becoming the Minecraft place for me, because I keep finding Minecraft games there. I found Minecraft Story Mode. It looks like it's just regular Minecraft Story Mode. It's not, though. This is also the second time I found, second time I found a Minecraft game that was mislabeled. This is Minecraft Story Mode, the Complete Adventure, which can trade in a GameStop. It's worth 11 in trade-in. I only paid 8 for it. That's pretty good. And the other thing, which I didn't do as well, I took a no look on it just because I figured it's a good price. It's not worth as much as I would like in trade-in, but you know what? Why not? We have a wireless GameCube controller for the Nintendo Switch. It's made by Power A. Looks pretty good. You just plug a regular Nintendo Switch cord into it, and you can play GameCube games with it. I only paid, I think, $12 for this. It's marked at 15. I only paid 12, and it's only worth 13 in trade-in. So I only gained like $1. This isn't ideal, but you know, might as well. It's a good-looking controller. So that is my total in terms of stuff that I'm going to trade into GameStop. So now comes the fun part where I'm actually going to go to GameStop, trade all my stuff in, see how much I get, and then what I'm going to use that credit on. So let's head over to GameStop and see how I do. All right, time for our final stop of the day. GameStop. We're going to trade in all those games and that controller, see how much we get in credit, and what I come away with. Let's go. Okay, so after everything, I ended up making $105 in trade-in, which is pretty good. I only paid, I think, a grand total of $45 for the stuff I got today. And then I had stuff that I was already in possession of. So I got $105 in credit, which is quite solid if you ask me. I picked up a grand total of 5 items and did pay a little bit out of pocket for it. I think I paid a grand total of $14. I think it's worth it though, when you see what I got. So first things first, I got Into the Dead 2 on the Switch. Now, what's interesting about this is it's priced at $19.99. Apparently it was on sale. I only got it for $14. It's a first-person shooter on the Switch. It looks interesting. It's got like a whole story mode, interesting art style. I'm always down to try out some unique Switch games, so another nice addition to the collection. Into the Dead 2. Next, I got an Xbox One game, and that is Age of Wonders Planetfall. Apparently it's an RTS style game with turn-based battles. I don't know much about it. It looks pretty cool. It kind of looks like Civilization meets StarCraft. I'm kind of down, and it wasn't that expensive, so I'm like, I think it's another game that's worth a try out. Next, and this one was interesting, I got 1971 Project Helios on the PS4. This is a new game. They resealed it obviously because it was a GameStop quote unquote new game. But it was only 10 bucks new. It's a turn-based strategy game based in 1971. Sounds interesting. I figured for 10 bucks, that's worth a try out. And it's not a game I hear about very often, so worth the pickup. Next, and this one was the one I decided to go a little over my credit for just because I saw it. It looks like it's in really good condition, and I actually was thinking today how I need a fourth one of these, and now I do have 4 of them. We have a very nice looking Nintendo GameCube controller. It is the Smash Brothers version. Really nice shape, looked very clean. It was only 20 bucks, so not bad. That's the main thing that I had to splurge on a little bit. Oh, besides my last thing. So this, I showed in a clip. I had to get it. It was also the last copy, so I'm glad I did. Terrorizer 2. Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy. Yes, it is the sequel to the really hard to find PS4 game that I picked up before. This game's not nearly as difficult to find as the first one, but I saw my GameStop had it, and I'm like, you know what? I got the first one, let's get the second one. So now I have both games in that series. I will be trying the first one fairly soon on the channel, so if you want to see what that really hard to find PS4 game is like in terms of gameplay, I'll be happy to show you. So yeah, that was the whole haul. I know it doesn't sound like much. I got 4 games, one of which was $60, GameCube controller, and 3 additional games. So not terrible. They didn't take the wireless Switch controller for some reason, even though it had a price on the app, but they wouldn't take it. So I got a little less than I was hoping for, but you know what? For the price I paid for it, I'll keep a wireless Switch controller. That's fine. So now I have a Pro controller and a wireless GameCube controller for the Switch. So more control options, yay. Anyway, let's head home and do a recap of everything we did today. All right, so I have returned from my trip out to pawn shop hunting for trading credit. And so I kind of showed you what I got from GameStop, but now we're going to go over values of everything that I am keeping for the collection today. / also I got one thing to flip. So we're going to start off with the stuff from the pawn shops that I'm actually going to, I didn't trade it, that I'm either keeping or trying to flip. We're going to start with Battlefield 4 on the Xbox One. I mostly added this to the lineup because I wanted to make a bundle deal with Cash America, because that tends to be where I do the best in terms of pricing. Usually if I bundle like a fair amount of stuff together, they'll just give me a nice flat price. So I got essentially 5 games for 20 bucks. That's $4 a game, and most of the games I got were well worth more than that, so I definitely did well. This one I don't have. I think I had it at one point on Xbox One, but I traded it in a long time ago, so I figured, might as well pick it up again. Paid $4, it is worth $5, so not a huge boost, but you know, not everything's gonna be. Next, and this one I got to flip because I've been flipping a lot of WWE games lately, and I figured, well, let's add another one to the list. WWE 2K16 on the Xbox One. This one's not going for quite as much as some of the other ones I have, but I only paid $4 for it. It's worth 10, so hopefully it'll be a nice easy flip on eBay. So we'll see. Now we're gonna get to this last one, which is the Nintendo Switch wireless GameCube controller. This is made by PowerA, so it's not an officially made Nintendo controller, but it does feel pretty good. It feels like a Nintendo GameCube controller, although it does have 2 shoulder buttons instead of just 1. I'm curious as to how this is. I haven't charged it yet or seen how it works, so I'll probably have to mess around with it, but GameStop would not take it in trade-in, which I was actually kind of thinking about holding on to it anyway, because I mean, I paid I think $12 for it. That's a pretty solid price for a wireless GameCube controller for the Switch. Now I have 2 controllers that are not Joy-Con, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, I paid $12 for this, and it is worth $20. So, still worth more than I paid for it. I also got this from La Familia, whereas the first game, Battlefield 4, I picked up at Cash America. So, those are the only 2 games I kept for the pawn shop, plus WWE, which I also got from Cash America. Now here's the stuff I picked up from GameStop. Now I will tell you, not everything here is actually going to be worth more than what I paid for it, and I'm okay with that because most of it I purchased with credit. So I still did well, very well in fact. I don't feel bad about losing a little bit of value considering I didn't pay for it with money anyway. And one item I did incredibly well. I'm actually very surprised that GameStop had it priced the way they did, considering how much it's actually worth. So we're going to start with our Xbox One game. And yes, I only picked up one game for the Xbox One this time. We have Age of Wonders Planetfall. It's a turn-based strategy game. It looks pretty cool. Again, it's not the type of game you normally see on this platform, but it looks interesting. So I'm like, let me try it out. I paid $14 for this, and it is worth $13. So a little bit of a loss, but that's okay. Next, we have Into the Dead 2 on the Nintendo Switch. This looks interesting. It's a first-person shooter on the Switch. It's got some bonus content in it. It's always nice to add additional interesting looking games to the Switch library. I'm starting to carve out a pretty solid Switch collection, so glad to add this one to the list. I paid $13 because apparently it was on sale and it's worth $16. Oh, sorry, I paid $14, it's worth $16. Solid. So I did gain a couple bucks on that one. Pretty happy with it. Next we have 1971 Project Helios on the PlayStation 4. This is a new game. As you see, GameStop apparently has started resealing their quote-unquote last copies of games. So it's a new game. It hasn't been played, but it wasn't sealed. So I guess now they're starting to seal them. Okay. It's a turn-based strategy game on the PS4. I don't know much about it. It looks kind of cool. I only paid $10 for it new. It's worth $12. So that's solid. Pretty happy with that. The big game, and this was the one I spent the most money on, and I did it mostly because I had the original and the sequel was on the shelf. So I figured, you know what? Might as well pick it up that way, have a complete set. Altera Ryza 2, Lost Legends, and The Secret Fairy on the PlayStation 4. This game is $60 retail. It's not like the original one, which was only $40. It was also the last copy, so I'm glad I did pick it up. I paid $60, so full retail price. It's worth $45, so it is actually worth less money than the original, which is kind of funny. But again, I figured if I'm gonna get the original game, which I have it now, might as well get the sequel if I can find it, and I paid credit for it, so I'm pretty happy with that. Last item, and this is the one I did really well on, oddly enough, and it was kind of a throw-in. I saw it on the rack, and I'm like, if I can get it for a good price, I might as well grab it, and I did well. We have a Nintendo GameCube controller, a wired Nintendo first-party GameCube controller. This was one of the ones that was made for Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, I believe. It's in really good shape. It looks pretty much brand new, and it feels really, really nice. So I'm glad I picked it up. The main reason why I picked this up is because I have 3 wired GameCube controllers, and I have a Wavebird. The Wavebird is wireless, and the main downside of the Wavebird is it doesn't have any kind of rumble. So if I were to play a 4-player game of, say, Mario Party, only 3 players would have rumble, and then the 4th player would have to deal with the little exclamation points because there's no rumble in the Wavebird. So I figured, let's make this a fair battle and get a 4th GameCube controller. I only paid $20 for this. It's worth $40 in this condition. So GameStop is slipping on the price for this. I'm glad I picked it up for the price I did. So solid pickup. So that was the pickups. It was a lot of work having to go to 4 different pawn shops to try to find games that I could flip, and then of course going to GameStop to flip them. But I definitely did well in terms of value compared to what I paid. Today I paid, I believe, $60 for the games I got at the pawn shops, plus I paid an additional $14 out of pocket for all the stuff I got from GameStop, and it's worth over $100. So I definitely did well. I'll show you the final total at the end, but I'm pretty proud of these pickups. I'm pretty proud of how I did. It's pretty awesome. So that is going to do it for this episode of the Bargain Game Hunter. If you enjoyed these kind of little mission style episodes, let me know in the comments below. I'm trying to find ways to kind of mix up how I'm doing Bargain Game Hunter. I do still plan on doing some thrifting as well as maybe some flea market stops, so I do want to check other places besides Walmart, Amazon, and pawn shops and GameStop. So hopefully soon I can branch out and check out like some thrift shops or some flea markets. So that'll be interesting to try out. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you are new around here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell. That way you'll know when new videos drop. Every now and again, we will have DLC or full game codes or something to give away at the end of each video. So you're not going to know about the giveaways unless you watch all the way into the end. So be sure to keep an eye out at the end of these Bargain Game Hunter videos, because you never know, I might have something that I can give away with a question. So keep an eye out. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time on the Bargain Game Hunter. Bye-bye.